10 Early Signs of Dementia You Should Never Ignore. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dose and Diagnosis. Today, we're tackling a topic that touches millions of lives, yet often goes unaddressed until it's much harder to manage. Listen to this. According to the World Health Organization, over 55 million people worldwide are living with dementia right now. And Alzheimer's Disease International reports that someone in the world develops dementia every 3 seconds. Think about that. By the time this intro is over, several more people will have started their journey with this condition. The crucial, and often heartbreaking, part? Many of the earliest signs are incredibly subtle. They're easily dismissed as stress, tiredness, or just a normal part of getting older. But ignoring them can mean missing a vital window. A window for understanding, for support, for potential interventions, and for ruling out other treatable conditions that can mimic dementia. That's why today, we are diving deep. We're not just talking about occasional forgetfulness. We're uncovering 10 specific early warning signs of dementia that you should absolutely never ignore. Knowing these could empower you to seek help sooner for yourself or a loved one, and that can make all the difference. Please note, this video is for informational purposes only and not a substitute for medical advice. All information provided has been carefully verified. Source links are available in the description. 1. Memory problems. The memory loss associated with early dementia is far more pervasive than occasional forgetfulness. It's not just about misplacing keys from time to time. It's a consistent inability to recall recent and significant information. This could involve forgetting entire conversations that just happened, important appointments, or recent events, creating a noticeable impact on an individual's daily independence. This pattern of memory impairment starkly contrasts with typical age-related memory changes. While an older adult without dementia might momentarily forget a name or where they left an item, they can usually recall it later or use cues to remember. For someone in the early stages of dementia, however, these memories may not have been properly encoded, meaning processed and stored in the brain, in the first place, or they struggle profoundly to retrieve them. Consequently, you might observe them repeatedly asking the same questions, even after receiving answers, or needing constant reminders for tasks they were just told how to do. This highlights a critical failure in the brain's capacity to form and retain new memories. Interestingly, memories of the distant past often remain relatively intact in the early stages, making the loss of recent information even more confusing and distressing for the individual and their loved ones. It's a fundamental shift in cognitive function, signaling that something more serious than ordinary forgetfulness may be occurring. 2. Persistent language problems. Early dementia often brings noticeable difficulties with language, extending beyond the occasional struggle to find the right word. Individuals may experience persistent word-finding problems, a condition known as anomia. Anomia means they frequently can't retrieve common words, leading to frustrating pauses mid-sentence or attempts to describe an object rather than naming it directly, like calling a watch that thing for telling time. This isn't just about forgetting a complex term. It can involve everyday vocabulary. Furthermore, their ability to understand conversations, especially complex or fast-paced ones, may diminish. They might struggle to follow the thread of a discussion or miss nuances in language, leading them to ask for information to be repeated or to respond inappropriately. Expressing their own thoughts coherently can also become a challenge. Sentences might become fragmented, or their train of thought may seem disorganized. Reading comprehension can decline, making it hard to follow written instructions or enjoy books. Writing skills often deteriorate too, with individuals making more spelling errors or finding it difficult to structure their thoughts on paper, which can be particularly noticeable if they previously had strong writing abilities. These language difficulties can be deeply frustrating and embarrassing, often causing individuals to withdraw from social situations to avoid the struggle of communication. Recognizing these persistent language issues as a potential sign of dementia, rather than disinterest or rudeness, is vital for providing support and seeking medical advice. 3. Difficulty with familiar tasks. A concerning early sign of dementia is when individuals begin to struggle with routine tasks they have competently performed for many years. This isn't about learning a new skill. It's about a sudden or gradual inability to manage familiar activities. For example, someone who was an excellent cook might start having trouble following a well-known recipe, perhaps missing key ingredients or steps. This difficulty stems from impairments in what's known as procedural memory, which is our memory for how to do things, like riding a bike or using a specific appliance. It also involves a decline in executive functions. These are higher-level cognitive skills managed by the brain's frontal lobes, including attention, planning, sequencing steps, and problem-solving. Tasks like balancing a checkbook, which require organization and calculation, may become overwhelming. You might notice them taking an unusually long time to complete simple chores, or they might make uncharacteristic errors. Using familiar household appliances, like a microwave or a washing machine, can become confusing. They might even get disoriented while driving on familiar routes or struggle to use a remote control they've used for years, leading to significant frustration and sometimes a complete avoidance of these tasks. 4. Poor judgment. Dementia can significantly impair an individual's judgment and decision-making abilities, often in ways that impact their safety and well-being. This decline is not a reflection of their character, but rather a symptom of cognitive changes affecting the brain regions responsible for reasoning and impulse control, primarily the frontal lobes. One of the common areas where this becomes apparent is financial management. Individuals may start making unwise financial decisions, such as impulsive large purchases they cannot afford, falling prey to scams more easily, or giving away money inappropriately. They might struggle to understand the value of money or the consequences of their financial actions. Personal safety judgment can also deteriorate alarmingly. They might leave doors unlocked, neglect personal hygiene, or continue driving despite clearly being a risk to themselves and others due to slowed reaction times or disorientation. They may also show poor judgment in social situations, making inappropriate comments, oversharing personal information, or struggling with social cues and boundaries, which can be very out of character. Furthermore, their ability to make sound decisions about their own health can falter. This could manifest as neglecting symptoms that require medical attention, mismanaging medications by taking too much or too little, or failing to follow medical advice. 5. Mood and behavior changes. Beyond memory and thinking skills, early dementia can trigger significant shifts in mood and behavior, sometimes even before cognitive problems become overtly obvious. These changes are not simply due to frustration with other symptoms, but are often a direct result of alterations in brain chemistry and structure. Individuals might experience persistent depression, heightened anxiety, or uncharacteristic irritability that seems to come out of nowhere. Apathy, a profound loss of interest or initiative, is another common mood change. Someone who was once vibrant and engaged might become listless, showing little emotional response to good news or sad events. This lack of motivation can affect their participation in daily activities and social interactions, significantly impacting their quality of life and relationships. These mood shifts can be very distressing for both the individual and their family members. Behavioral symptoms may also emerge, such as increased suspicion or paranoia, leading them to believe others are trying to harm them or steal from them. Social withdrawal, distinct from that caused by communication issues, can occur due to these mood changes or a general sense of overwhelm. Sleep disturbances, which we will discuss later, can also contribute to or be a part of these behavioral changes, alongside sudden alterations in personality, a previously calm person becoming agitated, for example. 6. Misplacing things. While everyone misplaces items occasionally, the pattern of misplacing things in early dementia is distinctly different and more concerning. It's not just about forgetting where you put your glasses. It's about frequently putting objects in highly illogical or inappropriate places. For instance, finding car keys in the sugar bowl or a wallet in the freezer are examples that suggest more than simple absent-mindedness. What truly sets this apart from normal forgetfulness is the subsequent inability to retrace their steps mentally to find the lost item. A person without dementia might think back through their actions to locate something missing. However, someone with early dementia often cannot recall the sequence of their actions, making it nearly impossible for them to find the object on their own. This can lead to considerable frustration and distress for the individual. As this problem progresses, it can also breed suspicion and paranoia. They might accuse family members or caregivers of stealing the misplaced items because they genuinely cannot remember moving them or cannot logically deduce where they might be, leading to strained relationships. This cognitive disruption affects both memory formation and logical thinking. Over time, the frequent misplacing of essential items, such as medication, identification, or even hearing aids, can pose significant safety risks. 7. Changes in sleep patterns. Disturbances in sleep are common in early dementia and can significantly impact an individual's overall health and cognitive function. These aren't just occasional bad nights. They often manifest as chronic insomnia, where the person has persistent difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep through the night. They might wake up frequently and find it hard to go back to sleep, leading to unrefreshing sleep. Other changes can include a noticeable shift or even a reversal of the sleep-wake cycle. This phenomenon, sometimes referred to as sundowning, when agitation worsens in the late afternoon or evening, can lead to increased wakefulness and restlessness at night, while causing excessive daytime sleepiness. These disruptions are thought to result from changes in the brain that affect its internal clock, known as the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which regulates sleep. The impact of poor sleep is far-reaching. It can exacerbate cognitive symptoms like memory problems and confusion, worsen mood disorders such as depression or anxiety, and increase physical risk factors, particularly the danger of falls if the person is disoriented and moving around at night. The effects of certain medications or coexisting anxiety can also compound these sleep issues. 8. Disorientation to time and place. A profoundly unsettling early sign of dementia is a persistent and increasing disorientation to time and place. This goes far beyond occasionally forgetting what day of the week it is. Individuals may consistently show confusion about the current date, the day of the week, the season, or even the year. They might struggle to understand the passage of time, perhaps believing it's a different time of day or that recent events happened long ago, or vice versa. This disorientation can also manifest spatially. They may get lost in familiar environments, including their own neighborhood or, in more advanced stages, even within their own home. They might not recognize familiar landmarks or be able to find their way back from a short walk. This loss of spatial awareness can be incredibly distressing and frightening for the individual. You might observe them dressing inappropriately for the weather, such as wearing heavy clothes in summer, because their sense of the season is impaired. Forgetting appointments is common, not just due to memory loss, but because their grasp on the structure of time is failing. This temporal and spatial confusion can significantly increase the risk of accidents, wandering and getting lost, or safety hazards at home, like leaving the stove on, believing they just started cooking. This symptom reflects a fundamental disruption in how the brain processes temporal and spatial information, functions crucial for navigating daily life. 9. Social withdrawal and apathy. Changes in emotional and social behaviors are often among the earliest and most subtle indicators of dementia, sometimes appearing before more obvious cognitive decline. A common manifestation is social withdrawal, where an individual begins to pull away from social interactions and activities they previously enjoyed. This isn't necessarily due to shyness or a single bad experience, but a more pervasive disengagement. This withdrawal is frequently linked to apathy, which is a marked loss of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. They may seem emotionally flat, showing diminished responsiveness to both positive and negative events. Hobbies and interests that once brought joy may be abandoned, and they might resist engaging in social gatherings, preferring to stay isolated. This is more than just feeling down. It's a profound lack of motivation and initiative. It's important to distinguish this apathy from depression, although they can coexist. While depression involves sadness and feelings of hopelessness, apathy in dementia often persists independently of external circumstances or mood. It reflects impairment in brain areas responsible for regulating emotions, motivation, and social behavior, such as the frontal lobes and parts of the limbic system. 10. Muscle weakness. While often associated with cognitive decline, emerging research highlights a connection between physical changes, like muscle weakness, and the risk or progression of dementia. A noticeable decline in muscle strength, particularly in tasks that were previously manageable, can be an early physical sign associated with subsequent cognitive deterioration. This might manifest as a weaker grip, making it difficult to open jars or hold onto objects securely. Individuals might also report or exhibit difficulty carrying groceries, lifting everyday items, or finding that their overall physical stamina has diminished more rapidly than expected for their age. This isn't just about general deconditioning. Studies have specifically linked indicators like reduced grip strength to a higher likelihood of developing cognitive impairment. The reasons for this connection are complex and multifaceted. One theory is that factors contributing to muscle weakness, such as inflammation or reduced production of certain growth factors, may also negatively impact brain health. Furthermore, increasing muscle weakness can lead to reduced physical activity. This is problematic because regular exercise is known to be neuroprotective, enhancing brain function and potentially slowing cognitive decline. A decrease in mobility due to weakness can therefore indirectly hasten cognitive deterioration. Maintaining muscle health through regular physical activity, including strength training exercises, is not only important for physical independence, but may also play a crucial role in preserving cognitive function and potentially slowing the progression of dementia. Thank you for watching and supporting our work. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this.